Thank you very much, Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Health and Long-Term Care. Speaker, today I'm introducing a bill to protect the conscious rights of healthcare professionals. Unfortunately, this government voted down every amendment the PC party put forward to protect their conscious rights. Balance is needed in the system. The self-referral system proposed by this government, which our party does support, is only half the solution. Protection of conscious rights of healthcare professionals is the other half. Speaker, will this government support my private member's bill to be debated on May 18th?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think as members of the legislature are already aware that the government's proposed legislation will support specific aspects of the implementation of medical assistance in dying by providing more protection and greater clarity for patients, their families, and their health care providers. I have many times stood in this legislature and asserting my commitment to and respect for conscience rights of health care providers, of all of us, Mr. Speaker. I've also spoken about the necessity and the imperative to assure a balanced approach that also respects patients, Ontarians' right to access medical services in this province, Mr. Speaker. It's important that Ontarians understand there is nothing in this legislation that would negatively impact conscience rights of healthcare providers.
Answer.
It speaks to issues that are important with regards to protection from liability and certain life assurance standards and protections and other details, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary.
Thank you very much, Speaker. That is specifically why I'm asking for this bill. There is nothing to protect the conscious rights of our healthcare professionals. Our amendments put forward to this government was going to enshrine that legislation. This government voted it down. Many patients, many healthcare professionals have written thousands of letters and petitions in support of a self-referral system and protection of conscious rights. A balance is needed to ensure patients' access to medical assistance in dying. Other jurisdictions have a self-referral system and protect the conscious rights of healthcare professionals and provide better access to medical assistance in dying than Ontario. Mr. Speaker, will the minister encourage his colleagues, the members of the government, to vote in favour of my private member's bill on May 18th?
Seated, please. Seated, please. Thank you. Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, there's no requirement by the federal legislation, Ontario legislation, to require physicians to participate in medical assistance in dying. However, we specifically, because there is an element of the federal legislation that speaks to both conscience rights as well as patients' right to access medical services, we introduced not once but twice an amendment to the legislation that speaks directly to and reaffirms conscience rights of healthcare providers. And you know who voted it down, Mr. Speaker? That party. The Progressive Conservatives, not once but twice, voted down our amendments to assert and reinforce and reiterate, as the federal legislation did, conscience rights for healthcare providers. Shame on you.